Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubrali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Toronto boy with ultra-rare disease receives groundbreaking gene therapy, funds being raised to help others with SPG50. Hamilton police arrest former camp counselor in sexual assault investigation. Firefighter injured battling two-alarm fire in North York. Canadian home sales fall for the fifth month in a row, down 29% from last July. Strong mayor powers to be expanded to more Ontario cities, Ford says. Students face surging rental market ahead of fall return to classes. Construction work now underway to make Toronto's museum station more accessible. Richmond Hill man drowns at Wasaga Beach. Police believe death not suspicious. Daycares have 2 weeks left to opt into $10 a day program. Here is where things stand.
Those were the headlines, and let's jump right into the details.
A Toronto family's heart-wrenching journey to find a cure for their son's ultra-rare disease has reached a new milestone. After 3+ years of intense fundraising and equally laborious work to develop a possible cure, 4-year-old Michael Pirvolakis recently became the first person in the world to receive individual gene therapy for spastic paraplegia type 50, SPG50 for short. This complex neurodegenerative condition is caused by missing protein in the brain and results in severe developmental delays, progressive weakness and stiffness of the legs, and paralysis by the age of 10. Roughly 80 children around the world have SPG50. However, Michael is believed to be the only one with the disease in Canada. The Pirvolakis family, who live in East York, learned Michael had SPG50 when he was just over a year old. Determined to help their son, Terry and Georgia Pirvolakis, immediately got to work to raise more than $3 million needed to pay for their experimental treatment that could stop the progression of and maybe even cure their son's disease. Navigating the complexities of creating a cure for an ultra-rare illness, especially during a global pandemic, was no easy feat, Terry Pirvolakis admitted. It's been a pretty long journey with lots of ups and downs and then delays with COVID, he said. Hamilton police have arrested and charged a 24-year-old man accused of sexual assault while working as a camp counselor at a local college. Police say an investigation was launched after a victim came forward to report an incident of sexual assault that took place in 2017. According to a release issued Monday, Bulletin resident Siobhan Shuey Adamson was arrested on August 11th and charged with 1 count of sexual assault and 1 count of sexual interference. At the time of the incident, police say Adamson held a position as a counselor at a summer camp hosted at Mohawk College in Hamilton. They say he has not worked as a counselor since the summer of the alleged incident. However, they believe there may be more victims and are encouraging anyone with information to come forward. Adamson is scheduled to appear in court on September 12th, the release say. A firefighter battling a smoky two-alarm fire at a residence in North York Monday morning has been injured, Toronto paramedics said. They transported one patient with serious but non-life-threatening injuries to a local hospital. The fire broke out around 6:10 a.m. at a large empty house under construction on Patricia Avenue near Steeles Avenue West and Bathurst Street. Heavy smoke could be seen coming from the second floor. At first, arriving crews were met with heavy flame and smoke showing on the Alpha side as well as through the roof, acting platoon Chief Godfrey Greaves told CP24. They were able to make entry quickly for fire suppression activities and conduct the primary search. The situation was then upgraded to a second alarm to provide for additional fire suppression crews. Currently, all crews are still on scene and we are still actively fighting the fire. Greaves said exposure lines have also been set up to protect neighboring homes due to concerns of collapse, adding they do not anticipate any issues with those properties. The Canadian Real Estate Association found home sales fell for the 5th consecutive month between June and July. On a seasonally adjusted basis, the association said sales in July fell 5.3% compared with June. The actual number of sales last month was 37,975, down 29% compared with July last year. That leaves activity back in the pre-COVID range, or roughly 40% below the peak of the demand-side blowout seen last year, said Robert Kavsich, BMO Capital Markets senior economist, in a note to analysts. Unadjusted, it was the quietest July for sales since the financial crisis in 2020. July's drop in month-over-month sales was the smallest of the past 5 months. Market watchers said it's too soon to say whether that trend will continue. Much of the cooldown has been attributed to the Bank of Canada increasing its key interest rate by 1 percentage point to 2.5% in July, the largest hike the country has seen in 24 years. Gapsich feels the drops constitute a market correction that is playing out almost everywhere but to varying degrees. Construction work is set to get underway today on a project that will improve access to the TTC's museum station. The $26 million project, which will include the construction of 2 new elevators and new secondary entrance exit at the Queen's Park Circle, will also enhance safety as well as customer service, the TTC said in news release. To accommodate the work, drivers should note that a number of lane restrictions will be in place on Queen's Park between Bloor Street West and Queen's Park Circle. The complete list of the road closures and restrictions are on the City of Toronto's Road Restrictions webpage. Museum Station will also remain open and pedestrian access will be maintained along Queen's Park throughout construction. Motorists are being advised to use Bay and St. George streets as alternative routes, especially those heading northbound. Drivers are also urged to allow extra time to get to and from destinations near the construction work zone. Roughly 60% of Toronto's non-profit childcare centres have opted into the federal government's $10 a day program ahead of September 1st deadline, but the uptake among for-profit centres has lagged behind. The latest data reveals that 535 of the approximately 1,000 licensed operators in Toronto had applied to opt into the program as of last week, while 28 had signaled their intention to opt out. However, participation in the program so far appears to vary considerably depending on centers' operating model. But as of last week, only 91 for-profit operators had opted in, accounting for less than 30% of those centers. Elsewhere in GTA, Peel Region has said that 173 of its 194 licensed childcare operators have completed an expression of interest in the program so far. Only 13 had formally completed the paperwork to opt in, but a spokesperson told CP24.com last week that the region expects the number of applications to pick up considerably as the September 1st deadline nears.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.